Hello and welcome from Budapest. This is Hungary Reports from Public Media M1, bringing you the latest news in Hungary, in English from Hungary and the Carpathian Basin. I'm Apat Szörci. Great that you can be with us. Several hundred migrants in Serbia have amassed just outside the Hungarian border at Kelebia and Tompa in the south. They have been getting organized for days now. They want Hungary to open up its border. Furthermore, among the migrants were people working as negotiators who tried to talk to Hungarian border guards. So far, the crowds are peaceful, yet determined. They say that as long as the Hungarian defensive border remains, they won't budge.
At 2:30 p.m. in the afternoon, a few hundred meters from the border crossing in Kelebia, Hungary, several hundred migrants in a forest started making their way towards the Hungarian border. Women and children were also among the crowds this time. However, the majority were men. Officials didn't intervene when the crowd passed through the border crossing on the Serbian side. The migrants got to the iron gate protecting the Hungarian border without any resistance. That is when they sat in front of the gate as police gathered at the Hungarian side of the border. Some migrants even spoke with the Hungarian authorities across the border. At around 5 p.m., even more migrants arrived at the Serbian-Hungarian border crossing. Earlier, news began to spread in Serbia among migrants about a protest march being organized. Migrants near the Hungarian, Serbian, Romanian tri-nation border spoke with the crew of Public Media's M1 channel. They said that they are going to Sabatka, Serbia, to take part in the protest. According to a letter that is now in the possession of M1, the migrants originally planned the march from Sabatka towards the Hungarian border for Friday at dawn. The movement was given the name Walk for Free Crossing. They also reminded everyone to bring enough food and water as well as warm clothing. Migrants were instructed to keep quiet during the march. Only spokespeople and translators were to speak. Hungarian authorities continue to be mindful of the information conveyed. They are advising Serbian authorities about the mass illegal border crossing attempts, the Fidesz chairman of Parliament's Defense and Law Enforcement Committee said to M1 on Thursday. Lajos Kulsa added that border crossing attempts last week were also planned and that they were efforts of deliberate provocation. The alleged goal was to test the Hungarian borders in order to find potential weak spots where they could then coercively cross the border.
Hungary is the first European Union country to join the International Religious Freedom Alliance. The Minister of Foreign Affairs and Trade made the announcement in Washington, referring to the organization that was established on the initiative of U.S. President Donald Trump. Péter Szijjártó pointed out that Hungary has been a Christian nation for more than 1,000 years and has so far spent $50 million in supporting disadvantaged Christian communities around the world. It's rebuilt churches and hospitals, which has helped 70,000 people to either remain in their homelands or has brought them back. The Hungarian foreign minister said that it's unacceptable that international organizations turn a blind eye to the persecution of Christian communities. The 7 Hungarians transported from Wuhan, China, remain in quarantine in a Budapest hospital. They had arrived on Sunday and have undergone several examinations. So far, they show no sign of the coronavirus that seems to have originated in China. For safety reasons, they still can't have any visitors. However, a Hungarian university student who had left Wuhan in January has now been released from hospital.
The Hungarian university student who left Wuhan, China in January was brought to the Southpest Hospital Center in Budapest. He had no complaints. However, in keeping with safety precautions, they placed him under medical observation. The student has undergone multiple examinations throughout the past 2 weeks. As he did not have any signs or symptoms of coronavirus, they discharged him on Thursday morning. The evacuated Hungarians who arrived in the country from Wuhan on Sunday continue to be under quarantine. All 7 are under medical observation. Currently, they are symptom-free. As a further safety precaution, their relatives are not permitted to visit them at this time. They do not have the fever. Based on lab results, they have no signs of the virus. Basically, they are completely healthy, said this head of infectology. Suspicion of the viral infection is based on extremely strict criteria. Firstly, it is imperative to consider which region of China the individual has arrived from, and also what symptoms they may have. These facts are then reviewed by epidemiological experts, after which they determine if diagnostic tests are necessary. As before, the National Public Health Center continues to be the only institute where this is currently possible in Hungary. Calling the helpline at the center can be made at any time and is toll-free for those in need of advice about the coronavirus.
Hungary wants its small and mid-sized companies to become more high-tech. That would make them more productive and effective in the marketplace, helping them to also survive competition in the long term. Despite 5.5% growth in 2019 compared to the year before, December showed that growth in manufacturing had slightly stagnated. Despite that, companies have still grown slightly more than the country's GDP.
The second Mercedes manufacturing plant in Kecskemét is almost ready. This means production can soon start. 150,000 conventional and alternative propulsion cars will be made here at an investment of about 888 million euros. This means vehicle production will play an even greater part in overall industrial production. The government provides generous support to firms, especially to small and medium-sized enterprises, for them to be able to produce the highest technical quality possible and become high-tech. Even though data from the EU isn't available yet, Hungarian industry is growing significantly, which increases its value, while the performance of Hungary's main economic partner, Germany, has significantly slowed down. As I see it, the reason for this is primarily due to the high level of investments, with the new production capacities being established and the already existing ones becoming more efficient. It also shouldn't be forgotten that if a German company is thinking of downsizing, it's easier for them to keep production in Hungary using the cheaper workforce in a business environment that's better, instead of resorting to production in Germany where it's more expensive, Gábor Egős said. Vehicle production wasn't the only sector boosting the manufacturing industry. The production of computers, electronic, and optical products was also significant. The food industry has also greatly contributed to the more than 5% increase, which shows that the Hungarian industry is becoming more diverse.
An environmental disaster has happened in southern Slovakia in the village of Csabrag-Varbok near the Hungarian border. 3,000 cubic meters of caustic material spilled out of a damaged natural gas tank. The contents have flowed into the surrounding land and streams. Police are informing inhabitants and those affected. They'll be issuing a statement later. This toxic spill also threatens Hungary, since the affected streams in Slovakia flow into the Ipoly River that also goes through Hungary. If you like checking out ancient digs, then come to Veszprém, southwest of Budapest, where you can visit the Margit ruins at the foot of Mount Benedek. Saint Margit, the daughter of Hungary's King Béla IV, lived in the abbey here for 6 years, starting in 1246. Hence, that's why the ruins are named after her. The church belonging to the abbey was built in the 15th and 16th centuries. Some of the facilities were destroyed during the Ottoman Empire's occupation of the region, but there's still plenty to visit, and it's all for free. And speaking of ancient, how about the village of Mama, which dates back close to the conquest of the motherland, as Hungarians call it, when Magyar tribes first entered the Carpathian Basin back in 896 AD. Archaeologists have dated relics there found in the ruins back to the 13th century. The village became depopulated at the beginning of the 1700s. Hungary only really started looking after the ruins in the 1960s. The ruins of the original castle can now be viewed every day for free in Balatonfürdő. And that's all for now, but you can see Hungary reports in repeats and on the internet, and we're back live after the next Hungarian news program at 11:20 p.m. Central European Time. Please stay tuned now, if you can, for our shows in German, Russian, and Chinese. Thanks very much for watching, and minden jót.